I'm here with my boy.
What up, though?
What up, though? Ricardo
Yes, sir.
Holley.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good to be here, man.
I appreciate you on being coming all the way out to San Diego to be on More Life.
Yes, sir.
And do some work and all that stuff. I appreciate that, brother. So how do we know each other?
We know each other because you used to be the worst boss in boss history.
Yo.
No. That's a lie. That's cap. We know each other from the Navy. Right. CJ was my boss. Came in at a time, I feel like, when, a lot of the responsibilities in the division, because we were a very small division, without a chief at the time. Yep. Before you came, we didn't have a chief. It was me. Before you and before QMC came, I was the go-to for a lot of the responsibilities of second class and even the first class. Right. And here I am. I don't even think I had made third yet. I think I was still at E3.
You was seaman.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. But it was amazing, man. You came in and I felt like there was some hostility or just resentment on my end, because now it's like, well, damn, I've been doing this job now. I thought that I was going to be not necessarily acknowledged, but when you're doing a job of a first class and you're an E3, you're not getting paid for it.
Nope. But you're doing the responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I felt that almost weight in that responsibility to be, dependable to my nav, because we didn't have a chief at the time, and dependable to the guys that were up under me.
Right.
So now this guy comes and it's like, oh shit, now I got to go back to being an E3, but I've been doing this first class work for the past 2 months. So, that's, I feel like, kind of where on my end the resentment came. It's just, you never know. You never know with a new guy coming in.
New guy comes in, the normal thing to do is be like, yo, here we go. Here we go. I'm the new boss in town. And what I mean?
So I know I gave you, I wasn't as bad as I felt like I was with Chief, but I know I gave you, a tough time sometimes. And that was just because of, like I said, the things that had transpired before you got there, and it's like, man, we got this show, man. We don't need these guys coming in. Yeah, man, I got this. Yeah. But I will say this, man. From the rooter to the tutor, you remain the same. You never let anybody or any of the drama, at least from my end, seeing you as a superior, any of the drama that your younger guys could have inflicted on you. You never let that affect how, number one, you led us, and even number two, you treated us like people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No matter how much shit I threw in your face, man, you always gave that smile, a laugh, and all right, Holly, okay. Okay. I know you're trying me today, but
I remember one of the funniest parts was like, I was trying to just show you guys, I'm a superior, but I'm one of you guys. I've been there before. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I was just coming there and be like, all right, I'm about to make them laugh. Holly, with your young ass shirt.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And you guys were just like, did he just?
Yeah. I'll tell you this, man. It was definitely a breath of fresh air. Once I got over, hey, who's this new guy that's coming that's going to be an asshole or a pain in the ass? You know what I mean?
Right.
Just from there, bro, your leadership, whether, again, at the time I was ready for it or not, or I adhered to a lot of the things that you was putting out there or not, it worked wonders for me. Yeah. Not only when I was in the Navy, but even to this day. And
I appreciate that.
A part of the reason I'm here.
Thank you. I appreciate.
Absolutely.
Thank you for saying that. There was something that was in my heart, when I got out the military. I was like, man, people are still reaching out to me, about stuff. Mm-hmm. And shoot, I got the hookup with the VA. I got all these resources, I'm not going to just hold all this stuff to myself. So And people ask me, hey, like, I need help with the disability, all that stuff. I'm like, dude, hit me up.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in the community. Like, as a pastor, I'm always available, but I'm not always accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make sure people know, like, hey, this is what I got. If you need help, let me know, or else people will just never think that they can come and talk to me about stuff.
Right.
I'm really grateful that you reached out to me and like, hey, man, I need help with this. Because I'm like, thank you. I get to give back, you know, like it's not just about me.
Yeah.
There's all these people that got me to get those things that I have resources for now.
Yeah.
Like if I'm an entrepreneur and I got a successful business right now, it wasn't just CJ, I'm just going to work hard and, I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
We got programs that I'm a part of, Jacob Center program here that where we're at right now. We got people.
Amazing place, by the way.
And we got people like, pushing me. There was a grant given to my business from the U.S. Bank. There's just like, it takes a village. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So it's
Absolutely.
like, I feel like it's not right for me not to give back. You know what I mean? So something's off with that. Like all these people helping you get to where you're at, and then you're just gonna be like, thanks, and then just keep going. Like it just don't feel right, But yeah,
it's amazing too to see, and it's kind of crazy to see too the people that God placed in your life that you never know. Again, all that resentment that was in my heart when you came.
Yeah. To
be 10 years now removed from the Navy,
right,
and us to still be in contact with each other, even good friends with each other. Yeah. It's like, God knows what he's doing.
He knows what you need, who you need to be hooked up with.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean? So
For
like,
sure.
I remember getting on that ship. Like, just so you know, when I was on the Rents, it sucked. Like bad. I was coming from.
It couldn't have been worse than the Gary, because
I the reason why I loved the Gary was because the people.
Got you.
I didn't like the environment that much.
Yeah.
But the people were like so much more, I don't know, relatable, if that makes sense. Like
Absolutely.
I got a guy from Detroit in my division, you know what I mean? So it's like,
hey, that was another thing too. I was the only guy, well, not the only, but I was the representative from Detroit on the Gary. And then here comes this guy.
I'm not.
He's from Detroit too. No, he's not. Then I met you, and I'm like, this nigga not.
I'm definitely not from Detroit. Born in Detroit. Raised in San Diego. If anything, Southfield. I will claim Southfield.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Nothing wrong with it. There's
nothing wrong with claiming Southfield, but Southfield guys are a little different.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so east side, west side guys are different
same
too.
thing.
In the D.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
yeah, it's funny though. But it's cool because I can understand the lingo. I can understand, like, you would come on, the bridge and listen to your rap. I'm oh, that's Detroit rap.
Oh yeah.
Dusty McFly.
When I say I was the representative for Detroit, I repped it hard.
Right.
Everybody knew that.
Doughboy Cash Out, Dusty McFly. Sir. I'm like, dang, this guy going in.
Yes, sir.
Buffy's and Benny Hannes.
Yes, sir. Had the whole division bumping.
Right. We were
Detroit
all up
music,
there like
man.
sweeping the ship like
I'm out here.
I'm out here. Right.
That's what's up though. So just knowing you from then to now, and life brings trials and tribulations and mountains and hurdles. I would have never thought that CJ would become a pastor.
No, bro.
Can you just kind of briefly touch on?
Now you interviewing me.
I mean, just because I know you,
right?
You know what I mean.
By the way, this guy runs a podcast. He has a podcast too, so that's why he's interviewing me right now.
Just that journey for you, and again, you don't have to go into everything, but how did QM2, from when I knew you, QM2 Karen Johnson, become reverend, leader, evangelist, even to say mentor, Karen Johnson?
So what happened was, in 2016, I was like, yo, I literally had an epiphany. Like, I am the most selfish person in the world. And it's not like I didn't do good things like you mentioned. I know there were some things that I understood that I was doing right. But at some point, I was so concerned with me and mine that I forgot the reason why I was doing what I was doing in the first place.
Gotcha.
I'm this. I'm the chief. I'm this. I did this. We wouldn't even have this house if it wasn't for me.
Right.
Just like the mindset was very toxic and self-centered. And so, you know, a lot of times what God does is he'll knock you off your high horse. Like, oh, really? You did that. Okay. Well, let's see what happens when all that's taken from you. Let's see where you stand then. And little by little, the house got taken away. The wife wanted to divorce me. I'm losing custody of my kids. My career is going down the drain, and I'm just like, yo. But what happened was I realized I had this I got into a really dark place where I was like suicidal, bro.
Yeah.
And right before I was going to down some pills, this lady that I met at the Salvation Army, is still a really good friend of mine, called me right before I was going to down these pills. And I stopped, and she's like, "Hey, CJ, how are you doing?" I was like, "I'm doing okay." Literally about to kill myself. Like, I'm doing okay. It was just like perfect timing, you know, like the exact time it was supposed to be. And then after that, I was just like, dang, something or someone is looking out for me when I think everybody is out and not for me.
Right. At
that moment, I was like, nobody understands me.
Yeah.
I was just being very like, you know, just like a big baby, like a grown baby. You know what I mean? And then I was like, I had this moment in the car with my wife, and I was like, I just looked at her, and I was like, somebody loves me. Somebody died for me. And it was just like, boom. It wasn't no altar call. It wasn't like, I just had this revelation of like, oh, snap, I'm supposed to be dead, bro.
Right.
You know, and then.
Did the woman say anything to you in particular, or was it just the fact that she cared that much?
She cared to reach out, bro, like to check on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did she do that at that exact moment? Like, you could call it a coincidence if you want. But then it makes it weird because then I had a heck of a lot of coincidences that kept me out of like doing something very destructive. So I was like, after that, I was like, okay, I got really good with just not having, I got content, if that makes sense. I'm like, I'm content what I have, but I'm not going to just settle for, you know, less than. So got really content. I started just like pushing out love more instead of trying to grab it all for me. You know what I mean? Just like start pushing it out more. Like, okay, yeah. And then the more I pushed out, the more I got.
Yeah.
And people don't understand this about marriage in general. Imagine if you were married to all of the creation, right? Are you only going to serve the creation if you get something from it? Like, do you think that I go home and be like, all right, I'm going to pay these bills and, you know, me and you are going to be in bed at 10 o'clock because I paid the bills?
Right.
That's not how marriage goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's prostitution.
Yeah.
So if all the creation is if I'm imagining all the creation is my wife, then I'm just going to serve and love and give to my wife, and because she's receiving the love that I'm giving her, she's gonna want to serve me, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And I'm using an example, but in my reality, everybody has their own reality, right? In my reality, that's how life goes for me. Where I'm just like, I love my bride, and my bride is creation. It's not me; it's Christ in me expressing that, but that's how my life goes. And it's just like, it's like a dance. It's not like, well, if I serve the bride, she's going to give me this.
Yeah, no.
It's a dance, you know? So yeah, good question. That's how I got to where I'm at. And I mean, dude, like I said, grants, $7,500 grants, you know, programs, business coming in all the time. You know, I'm just like, okay, I'm not really doing that much, you know. I'm not door knocking, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, well, you know, word's getting out, I guess. You know, people are God's taking care of me through people. You know what I mean?
I can say that I myself can relate to being in a place where, I don't know, man, it just feels like you're out alone.
Yeah.
You know, no one understands you.
Yep.
I lost so many people that I felt were very, very close to me. And, you know, it's just, I got on this F the world,
right,
you know, path. And it was taking me down the wrong way of the highway, faster and faster.
Right.
You know, the more that I would feel rejection or feel isolation, the faster I would go.
Right, right.
And at some point, I still can't grasp my mind around when that point was, or, you know, was it an event for me, or was it a happening? I haven't came to that yet, but I know there was a point to where I had to realize, yo, this could be you.
Yeah.
You know, instead of blaming my mom, my dad, the things that they did when I was a child, my friends, you know, the way that I feel like they portrayed me, or why was all of these things happening? Yes, you know, some of these people could take some of the blame, but it's your life.
Yeah.
You walking around mad at everyone else for your problems. They don't care, man. They still got to live their life.
Right.
You got to deal with your stuff.
Right.
You know, and I had to come to that to where I had to look myself in the mirror. And I know this is so cliche sounding. Yeah. But you really got sometimes you can be your worst. My mom said this to me and it hurt so bad. But she said one day, you're your worst enemy. And you don't even understand that.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Hits you, though.
Oh, my goodness.
It hits you, though.
I was so upset. I was like, why would you say that to me?
Yeah. No, I get it.
A week or 2 weeks later, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That might have had some.
She was right.
Yeah. You know? And then for me, I had to start doing, and I'm still doing, not only forgiving myself and learning more about myself, and being comfortable in my own space,
right?
So that my friends and my family could now want to be back around me,
right? Yeah, because if you don't take care of yourself, how are you taking care of others?
Yeah, you can't.
People ask me like, "Oh, you work out you're trying to be a bodybuilder?" No, man. I feel better when I work out. You know what I mean? Like it's not about me being a bodybuilder.
Shout out QMC, our old boss, which I demised so bad when I was in. But again, one of those things. Benitez.
Yeah. Who's the?
I'm telling you.
Benitez.
But I think about him at least once a week.
At
least once a week.
That's crazy. Because how do you know you? How do you know that you didn't make an impact on somebody to the point where they're like, hey man, Ricardo just taught me that. Holley taught me that, man.
Yeah.
Like you don't know that.
You don't. Right. You don't. You have no idea. But that's why it's so important for you to know yourself.
Right.
So that you can know how how others project you. And I know that that's not always. You know, people have this thing, I don't care how people see me, or I don't care what they think about me.
Yeah.
You don't care. But it's not until you get to see for yourself or life slaps you in the face to say, darn, you looked at me like that?
Right.
You know, that's so different from how I see myself.
Right.
But that was the energy or the whatever I was projecting, the Ricardo that I was projecting to others.
Right.
I didn't see that in myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I said that about QMC because when you mentioned the workout thing, I can remember on the ship, man, I was going through it with just missing home and being a young man and finding myself and trying to navigate through that career at the time, which was the Navy.
Right.
And just my own personal BS. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Chief would always tell me every morning at muster, hey, Holley, man, you need to get in the gym, man. You know, you need to. it's really going to happen. It's good for your mental. And shut up, man. I don't want to.
You don't want to hear that.
What's good for my mental is getting away from you.
Getting off the ship. Yeah, I know, bro. But
now
you understand.
I completely man. If you just spend 20 minutes in there, the biological things that does for your body. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was absolutely right.
Right.
It's so many times. I'm telling you, at least once a week, and I hope one day I can run into him. I hope QMC Benitez, I think he was a senior chief.
He's a senior chief now, yeah.
I hope all is well with you and your family. But if I ran, man, I would give him the biggest hug, man. You know what I'm saying? I know he would be like,
wait,
I thought you wanted to kill me, man.
Yeah.
But it's those people, like I said, God sometimes places people in your life that you have no idea that you need. You might not even need them then. Well, you know, I did need him then, but I rejected him so much then.
Right.
But 10 years later now, I still remember those lessons. I still can look back and say, man, that guy was absolutely right, man.
Right. We got about 10 more minutes. Didn't mean to cut you out there.
Absolutely. Keep going.
This part of the podcast is like, this part is legacy. Mm-hmm. So like you overcame, you're now working, you're a successful contractor. Mm-hmm. So you're basically an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
Who contracts out to different companies, right?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that really quick?
So I spent...
And your kids.
7 years working. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. One of the main industries in our city is automotive manufacturing. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys get caught up, not even guys, a lot of people that come from middle-class families, middle-class backgrounds, you know, that's their go-to. That's their end-all, be-all, is to work in a factory or work at a job for X amount of years, 25, 30 years, you know, retire there, make it up in those ranks. I always knew that just wasn't for me. You know, coming out of the Navy, number one, I've always been outspoken, and I know how to use my voice to make change, or, you know, make change, whether it's for myself, my family, my friends. So I didn't like being boxed in that environment. COVID happened. A lot of layoffs started happening in that industry, and there was a opportunity that presented itself for me to become a independent contractor. Now, at the time, I also started my own business, manufacturing, designing, and selling streetwear clothing.
Which that's one thing I always remember about you. Just quick note, you always dress fly, bro.
Anybody from the D, y'all know, we love our fashion. We love getting fly. We love, you know, just presenting ourselves to the masses. Right. That's just a part of Detroit culture. Putting on. So I've always been infatuated with, and being out here in California, it only made that infatuation grow. So back to the story, I had already started my own business. One of the things that you needed to become an independent contractor at the time was your own LLC and EIN. Nice. So, you know, it was just like, again, God was just setting up those things. I didn't know at the time when I set up the EIN and LLC, it was to manufacture, design, and sell clothes. Right. You know, T-shirts, hats, hoodies, and I still do that. Right. But the bigger goal, you know, was for me. So got into that work. It's been amazing. It's been life-changing. I mean, imagine you having to work hard, slaving hours, 12 hours, 14 hours sometimes in a factory. Right. You know, and you know what you're going to bring home. That's that. No matter if the day goes good, the day goes bad, whatever your pay is, that's what you're going to bring home. Now, I take control of my earnings. Right. I'm, you know, if I want to make upwards of $12K, you know, per week, per month, or whatever the case may be, that's all up to me and how much I put in. Right. You know, and that was big for me as a part of my mental health journey. I needed that, man. Right. I needed to have some type of ownership and accountability and control over not only my work, but my earnings from that work. So that's how I got into it, man. It's been life-changing for me. 3 kids. I'm a proud father. That's also another journey. One of the reasons that I got out the Navy was to be closer to my daughter. She'll be going into high school this year, which is amazing, man.
I'm not gonna. I mean,
go ahead,
bro.
Go ahead.
You got a daughter going to high school.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you're an old man.
Yeah, I know, man. I know, and you know better than me. You been there. You've been down this journey.
Right.
You know,
I got a daughter in college right
exactly. Exactly. So pray for me, please. And pray for my daughter. She's amazing, talented, educated. I mean, just a joy, a bundle of joy. But as a parent, you know, man, we're so worried about the outside influences and her becoming what she wants to be and planting her seed in this world and finding out how to do that and what that is. You know, that's the only thing that I'm more so just worried and excited and, you know, anxious for her.
She got her dad, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? I mean, kids out there don't have their father, bro, and you're there. You showed up, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you showed up. That's more than the majority, I will say.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Last note, we got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
This part of the podcast at the end, I just want to make sure that, first of all, we talked about you growing up in Detroit, you joining the Navy, having issues, you know, while you were there, you getting out, supporting your family, supporting your kids, you being an entrepreneur, taking that jump, you know, that's a leap of faith to do that. And then you now full-time entrepreneur, controlling your own schedule, controlling your own income. What do you want people, like, say, for instance, you're going to leave this earth eventually, right? What do you want people to remember you for? Like, what kind of characteristics do you want people to remember you for?
I think it goes back to what I said earlier about, you know, this was really big for me because hearing some of the things that my mom or close friends would say about me or to me that totally shook up how I viewed myself.
Right.
Was like, yo, what am I, you know? So to answer your question, I would like for myself, and it's been a growing process, to understand and recognize what I'm putting out there and the person that I'm being.
Yeah.
So that my idea and my view of what I am aligns with what others see me as and project me as.
Right.
If I say that I'm this ultra positive guy, I have knowledge to spill, which I do. I have multiple, just even from life experience. You know what I'm saying? I got so much information to put out. I want to help our community. I want to help underprivileged children in our community. I want to help kids that didn't grow up with a father like me to be able to see and accomplish dreams that, you know, they might not have seen and accomplished those dreams. But I have to make sure that I'm putting out that person that represents someone that wants to do all of those things, or that represents all of those things.
Right.
So to answer your question, I would like to be viewed or remembered as someone that loved spreading knowledge, was a sponge for knowledge and wisdom. I mean, I love to learn. I love to pick up new things, to learn about new things. And just somebody that was for, you know, the greater good, man. I'm for the greater good, not only of Black people, but humanity, all people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what I would be like to be remembered as. Someone that I did good stuff, didn't expect anything in return except for, you know, whatever information or wisdom or, you know, life experiences that you could pass on to me. I'll pass mine on to you and you pass yours on to me.
Ricardo Holley, E3, leader of the division.
I got out E4.
Okay, well, when you were a leader of the division as an E3.
Absolutely.
That, even though you were going through stuff, that's a testament to who you are at your core. You're the guy that's going to step up and step in and be like, even if I don't want to do this, this is the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Because there's people that are dependent on me. That at your core, that's who you are. You're the guy that's going to step up.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing from you right now is like, whatever I got to do. I mean, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if I'm perceiving around me that nobody is stepping up to the plate and I have the ability to step up, even if I'm not, in a position that I should be in to step up, maybe
Absolutely.
I'm still processing stuff.
Absolutely.
We're all still processing stuff, bro.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
I'm a pastor and I'm still processing stuff. So I'm telling you that you're already there. Like, you're already that guy, bro. Like, just keep on moving forward with that mindset and you'll be surprised, bro. You'll be like, whoa, wait a second. Why am I in this nonprofit that's helping kids, underprivileged kids? How did I get here? Like, so you'll eventually be like, oh, snap, because it's already in your heart, because that's what I heard, when you were speaking. I'm like, it's already in his heart, so he's going to end up there. So I appreciate you coming on here all the way from Detroit, sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, telling your story, you know what I mean? Like, thank you for being a good friend.
Same.
And, yeah, man, thanks for being on More Life.
Hey, man, More Life. I love you, CJ, man.
Love you too, brother.
Again, the journey that God has placed me on has made me aware of who I am, how others perceive me, and how my behavior affects that. So I'm always trying to do that self-work, but I appreciate you for remaining my friend, remaining a brother to me, someone that I can call out and, depend on if that need be, and that's vice versa. Yeah. And I appreciate you for going through this journey with me.
Hey.
Anybody that's like me, stick to the journey, man. I'm telling you.
Stick to the journey.
I'm telling you that it's gold on the other side.
There you go. All right, bro.
I'm still chasing it, but it's there. I know it's there.
His Instagram is linked in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
Love y'all.